What is up, guys and girls? Hurricane Liz here, and today I'm going to talk about how I started an Amazon FBA wholesale store and how I did it without even having to do too much. Now, this isn't my first rodeo in Amazon wholesale FBA. I did this way back in the day when I originally started Amazon. So this is kind of like picking up where I left off. So I'm super excited to show you exactly how I did it. So in this video, I talk about part 2 of what to think about if you're going to start this for yourself. So I'm super fired up for this video. I hope you are. Let's go and do this. Okay, so the big thing to consider when you start this type of business is really there's two big decisions. First off, are you going to do this yourself and or are you going to hire somebody to do this for you? Now, when I originally started, I decided to do it myself and I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this. And let me tell you, it was a lot of work. There was a lot of back-breaking work involved, a lot of shipping, a lot of packing, a lot of picking up heavy boxes. And even though I look like I'm a strong kid, let me tell you guys, I'm not. I am a huge wimp, so I cannot carry anything, I cannot pick up anything, or else I'm going to be hurting and I'm going to have an ice pack on me by the end of the day. And that's pretty much what it involves when you do this yourself. You're going to have to do a lot of shipping unless you use a third-party supplier. Now, there's also the way to do this with automation, and that is hiring a whole team that does all this for you, and you basically just finance the whole operation. Now, again, if you're trying to make a decision on how to do this, my email's below. You can schedule a call. I'd love to jump on a call with you and talk more about the options that you do have. So let's talk about once you decide how to do that. Now comes an even bigger decision. Do you buy a used account or do you start this with a brand new account? Now, there's a couple things to consider if you do decide to do this with a used account. Sure, you're going to have to shell out a lot of money, and I'm going to show you a couple of examples of where you can find stores from reputable sites. But there's also the way of doing it with a new account. And the bad thing about new accounts is that you're going to have to age them. And so in this whole challenge or this whole I started an FBA wholesale store, follow me along as I show you what it takes to get this store up and running and profitable. The way that I chose to do it is through a new account. And despite the fact that I have several used accounts, what is going to happen if you start this with a used account is it's going to make a ridiculous amount of sales immediately. So you got to have a couple things in place if that is the case. Number one, the available credit to purchase all these products, and two, the ability to fulfill them. So you got to make sure that you have those two things in place. But I decided to do it with a new store only because I know people out there are going to be watching this and say like, Liz, how did you make so much money so fast? Well, it would have been with a used store. So I decided, let's start this with a brand new store so you guys see all the challenges that somebody starting this from scratch faces. So that's what I decided to go with. And now I'm going to talk about the obstacles that are going to stand in my way and or your way if you decide to do this with a new account. Now, the first thing is the age of the account. The older an account is, the more respectable it is to Amazon, and also the less limitations you have. So I'll give you an example. If you started a store, or if you have a store sitting around that was prior to 2016, well, guess what? You do not get a hold on a percentage of your funds from Amazon. So what Amazon is doing now is if you're a brand new seller, they're going to hold a percentage of your funds every single 2 weeks when you're supposed to get paid, and hold those just in case there's a lot of customer refunds. They'll use the money from that percentage hold to pay those customers out. However, if you have a store older than 2016, you're not going to face those problems. They will pay you 100% of what you made every 2 weeks, and you will not see a hold. You are grandfathered in. So that is the beauty of having an old account. Now, second thing, the older the account is, then there's a possibility that it might have some inventory stock levels locked in. What I mean by that is Amazon will allow you a certain number of units based on the age as well as the sell-through on the account. And if you're a new store, again, it's going to give you limitations on the amount of crap you can send into Amazon. They're not going to want to hold your crap in their warehouse unless they know it's going to sell. So that's the second limitation that I'm going to have to deal with in this challenge. The third is the feedback on the account. So I'll go ahead and show you an example of what this means and why all this is so important here in a minute. But let's just take the example. I searched Glade plugins earlier, and you can see them right here. Amazon is selling these. That's the unfortunate part, which means like Amazon's going to hog up all the money. Like they're printing right here. And guess what? These guys down here, they will not print unless Amazon runs the hell out. So right here, we've got a couple stores. We got FJ Online has this for $15.36. Zathan's has it for $17.88. And if we take a look at each of their profiles, Zathan's has 93 ratings in the past 12 months. So that tells me that they're fairly new. It's not really a lot of ratings. And the other guy has 59 in the past 12 months, which means they're even less, even though it says started online with Amazon in 2021. So it looks like they started just about a year ago, and they've got 59 ratings, so they seem to be selling okay. This one doesn't say when it started, but it is a little bit older, or they have more items available than the other store. And what really happens here ultimately is Amazon looks at all these factors, and when these factors come into play, besides themselves, depending on who has a better portfolio of positive attributes from these factors, Amazon will rank that person higher, or they'll get the buy box. Like the fact that Amazon is right here at the top means they have the buy box. Now, if they were to run out, there is a chance that Zathans could show up in front of FJ Online simply because they have a lot of positive attributes that I just discussed on their whole profile versus FJ Online. So that means Zathans would show up at the top, and if you just hit buy now, you're going to buy from Zathans despite the fact that it is more expensive than FJ Online. Price is not the only factor that affects who has the buy box. And in this case, Amazon has the buy box. And that simply means if I add this to cart or I buy it now, it's going to be bought from Amazon. In order to buy it from any one of these other vendors, I would have to physically click on add to cart right next to their name to buy it from each individual vendor. And hopefully that made sense. All right, another factor that's going to determine how quickly something will sell is the account. Does it have any suspensions? Do we know were those revealed to us if we did decide to purchase an old account? Or if it's a brand new account, then you don't have to worry about that right now. But in the future, if you do get suspensions, that's going to be a factor on how well you sell and how quickly you sell. And then the last thing that could potentially stop us from making a decent amount of money immediately is what is the percentage hold on this particular account. If it's new, all brand new accounts, as of this day, I'm not 100% certain what that percentage hold is. I will look it up for next time in the back end of the account and tell you all what it is, but I think it might even be close to 40%. It used to be 20%, but as the time has gone on and years have passed, they have raised that higher and higher for new sellers, making it a higher barrier for entry. So this is what I talk about when I talk about e-commerce stores and why you should jump into some of them at some point. That's because the barrier for entry tends to be lower when an opportunity is brand new. There's a lot more opportunity for you to make money. There's a lot more opportunity for you to hold, in this case, grandfathered assets, because yes, these stores sell for quite a bit of money. So let's take a look at some of the stores in the event. Let's say we said, Liz, I want to buy a store. I don't want to deal with this bullshit where I'm a new seller. I want to buy an age store. Here on this particular site, it's called Player Up. There's a lot of these. All you have to Google is buy an Amazon account, and you can see a bunch of different sites, a bunch of different options. These guys have a tier 4,000 merch account, $4,000. Amazon seller account for sale, UK, Europe, $350. This one looks at Germany buyer account. I don't know what they do here, but it's $6.99. That just might be clickbaity. Here's a merch by Amazon account, $40. So there's a lot of merch by Amazon people that are selling these stores. How to prove merch by Amazon account, tier 10, 500, all countries, $50. Might be worthwhile to try one of those if you have not been able to get on merch and see if they work out. Like I might even just try one and make a video about it for people that cannot get approved. That could be very helpful for them. All right, so here's another site. This is called Seller Space. This one has a lot more the realistic totals. Like these guys just say the account name, Forever Tech, 278 reviews. You'll notice that it's 2017, it's $2,800, but the 2015 is a $4,100 store, and that's simply because of the age of the account. It's got 500 reviews, it's got 85% feedback, and it's $4,100. And there's plenty more that we could actually look at. Here's one that has 59 reviews. It's a lot less. It's 2018. It's $1,500. Yeah, you're going to have a percentage hold on that store. It's only got 59 reviews. It's got 78% positive feedback, and it even gives you like a little rundown. This account was registered in 2018. It's included in North America, Canada, and Mexico. It's a professional subscription. It's in the books category. You can contact here. But let's say I was interested in buying this one that's 489 reviews. 2015, 489 reviews. It's got UK marketplace as well. It's a pro subscription. It's in good shape with no limitations. It's good for buyers looking to progress in the home and kitchen category. The other thing about this is it also says it's been upgraded to professional with all the involved fees paid. So that means, let's say they have held it for 5 months and you decide to purchase it right now, which is like 5 months later. They're not going to bill you for that extra amount of money, and they're just going to eat it off the $4,100. So that's fantastic. But again, this is a great site. You can see that several have sold here. 2017, 1,100, 2018, 1,000, and there's a bunch more. Here's one for 2019, 500, 0 reviews. And you might be asking yourself, why would somebody want that account? Well, maybe they just cannot get approved and they're going to just buy this LLC because one reason or another they can't get approved, but this has already been approved. So here's one that sold for 3,600. Here's a couple more, 67 or 5,700 for this one. This one has a 2014, 663 reviews, 91% positive. It did sell 16 days ago. So again, these guys seem to be bartering between the seller and the buyer, and it probably would be a very safe place for you to buy an aged account if that's the way that you wanted to spin this, instead of you signing up for an account and then having to go through all the crap that I'm having to go through with my brand new account. So that's where we're at. Last thing that I want to mention, my store in particular has merchandise on the way to our warehouse, and that should have arrived already. That merchandise will then go from the warehouse to Amazon, and then we'll begin selling through FBA. So that is quite exciting. Again, it is FBA Wholesale Automation. I'm not doing anything. It's hands off. My team is handling everything, and I don't have to lift a single finger other than make sure that the payments are paid to the team as well as the POs are paid off, which simply means I pay for the merchandise. And again, if you'd like to find out more about this particular opportunity for yourself, my email is below. We can schedule and jump on a call. I'd be more than happy to discuss all the pros, all the cons, and if this is the right business for you. So questions and comments below. I always personally answer those, and I'll see you guys next time.